I'm here in Köln Hbf. I'm heading off to Wuppertal soon, although I don't actually have any particular train I need to get. So I'm spending an hour or so doing one final episode of Trainspotting here at Köln Hbf. Well, that's weird. It's going from Karlsruhe to Hamburg. So it's a Swiss train, but it's not going to or coming from Switzerland. Go figure. love the sound of the ICE3 starting up. That one's out of service. Meanwhile, we have one of the new Intercity trains here. Have been starting the process of replacing the old carriage Intercity sets with these double-deck sets. Not sure if they're multiple units or if there's a loco at one end, but they are very new. And that one's heading to Dresden Hauptbahnhof. Yeah, there's a loco on the back. There's tracks. There's another tracks here leading one of the older Intercity trains coming in. No, the top one is where it's come from. It's come from Dortmund and it's going to Oberstdorf. Dortmund is definitely that way, I think. It's across the bridge to the rest of the Rhine-Ruhr region, which is where Dortmund, Düsseldorf, Essen and Wuppertal all are, which is the direction I'm heading in, because obviously I'm going to Wuppertal. Service to Köln Messe, that's just over the bridge. It's not the S-Bahn, but it's a similar sort of very short distance train it's Regio, there you go. And I believe these units are Corradias. Going to. Here's another DMU, what I think is a Coradia, heading to Trier Hauptbahnhof. It's on the route between Koblenz and Luxembourg we passed through. Apparently it's one of Germany's oldest cities. I've got a National Express service pulling in here, heading to Rhine. I'm guessing there's a particular place called Rhine, as well as there being a river Rhine. It's spelt differently as well, although I might just be thinking of the anglicised spelling of Rhine. Anyway, these are Talent 2s, as I've mentioned previously. This particular route is operated privately by National Express, which funnily enough is a UK company. S-Bahn train there for Henne. Meanwhile, there goes that National Express train. Another service to another green S-Bahn service to Köln I have absolutely no idea what I'm saying. a lot of obscure German places that I've never heard of before. Meanwhile, here's a service to Siegen Hauptbahnhof. Double-decker Regio set with the tracks on the front. It is the Rhine-Sieg Express. Oh, it's like a little sub-brand there. It's not actually Deutsche Bahn Regio, specifically the Rhine-Sieg Express. CA. Don't know. ICE service, and it's got the blue stripe, special Europe livery. Red striped ICE train on the back. It's a cross between my two obsessions, trains and the European Union. Love it. National Express train there heading off, funnily enough, to Wuppertal. Got a Thalys service to Dortmund. Having presumably come in from Paris, Gare du Nord. By Brussels Mini. I'm walking up to the other end of the platform to see this ICE train leave. It was on a Thalys train like this where I first arrived in Cologne en route to Budapest many weeks ago. An intercity service to Osterbad.
Today by about 10 minutes from platform 9.
Meanwhile, this ICE train is on quite an epic journey, starting all the way in Amsterdam Centraal and heading down to Basel SBB. Oh! Oh, you're joking. Oh, that is so bloody annoying. I walked all the way over to this side just to get a better view of it, and it's actually reversed. Oh, I can't believe it. That's a disaster. Bollocks. The Rhine-Ruhr Express service here. That is unbelievable. I swear it's going south. Frankfurt's this way. Unless the new Frankfurt to Cologne high-speed route diverges from the other side. Maybe that's it. That's what they do. Ah. And there goes the Thalys train to Dortmund. Really should have stayed on the other side of the station. We've got what I think is a Talent 1 over there. I think they exist as diesel and electric trains. This particular one is a diesel. Can't see. It's going to Köln, so just crossing the river. Meanwhile, here's a local train to Koblenz Hauptbahnhof. Another diesel Talent 1. There's a Dutch-owned ICE train over there about to depart for Brussels Midi. Meanwhile, here's a National Express service to Bonn-Mellen. S-Bahn trains there in the background. That one in particular is going to Hbf.
Platform 5
got an ice.
now arriving ICE 654 from Berlin Ostbahnhof. Scheduled arrival 11:09. Please do not board this train. Caution, the train is arriving.
As you just heard from the announcement, we've got an ICE arriving in from Berlin. ICE carriage set over there. Meanwhile, there goes the Brussels train. Having presumably started in Frankfurt. Meanwhile, here's another ICE train arriving. This one is started at Dortmund and is heading to Munich Hauptbahnhof. Now I'm confused again, because if it started at Dortmund, why is it coming in this way? Meanwhile, here's the IC that just arrived from Berlin, and the Trains Are Bad in Europe as well brigade will be happy to know that it was half an hour late. Meanwhile, looks like a Regio train coming in here. Service to Hamm. The weather is very bizarre. Right now it's sunny, but there is this massive, very aggressive looking cloud straight overhead. National Express service to Wuppertal. Meanwhile, there's another National Express train leaving in the opposite direction, heading to Krefeld. Krefeld is, of course, where one of Siemens' main, if not the main factory is located. In fact, there's a lot of trains that are built there for the UK. Basically anything that's Siemens made in the UK currently was probably built in Krefeld, which is quite close to here. Not visiting on this particular trip, but it is close. Meanwhile, we've got two ICs leaving. We won't see the IC3 leaving though, because this train, which I believe is now empty, blocking the view. So this is an ICE1 or an ICE2, as I said. I'm sure there is a noticeable difference, but I don't know what that is. So I just know it as the older ICEs. They are set up similar to the Intercity 225s in the UK, with the electric locomotive on one end and a DVT on the other end, though the DVTs here do actually carry passengers. You can see the locomotive is on this end here, and there's another one on the next set. Similar noise. Regional service to Köln Airport arriving there. Oh, I just felt the rain droplets. Signal to get back under the train shed. Okay. So that IC3 train didn't go anywhere, it just moved forward slightly, it looks like. Weird. So you've got the DVT on this end, and there's a Talent 2, this time in Deutsche Bahn zone, heading to Aachen. And there's a slightly age-looking S-Bahn train over there. A slightly newer one in front. to Dortmund. Any logical explanation? Once again, heading that way, so not a good place to stand to see it. Regional, the Rhine-Ruhr Express, which is also operated by National Express, with service off to Koblenz. Interestingly, it's got double-deck and single-deck coaches. It looks like a Stadlerflow, but it's not. I just noticed the bogies are not articulated, so I don't think it is. So I don't actually know what train it is. Meanwhile, there's an S-Bahn service. Something airport. Not Köln maybe? No, it must be Köln. Got an Intercity service there. Not a trucks on the front, but some slightly older looking loco. Seem to be in much of a hurry. Service to Koblenz today. This one's topped and tailed, so there is, in fact, a Trax loco on the back. S-Bahn service to Düren. What I think is a Talent 1 there. Heading to Gladbach. Meanwhile, an ICE3 is arriving in the direction of Dortmund. And here comes an ICE4 in the opposite direction. No, this is the ICE to Dortmund. My directionality is so confused because I thought Dortmund was that way, but evidently it's not. So there's an ICE3 train over here. That's not the Dortmund train, it's heading somewhere else. And the train is called Munich, but that's just the name of the train. They all have cities on them. Can't see from here where that's headed. Meanwhile, here is an ICE4. Brand new, but somehow very dirty looking. So this one is heading from Munich to Dortmund. Look at that, step free, or not. Still steps, just without a gap. So I looked on the map and indeed Düsseldorf and Dortmund are that way, it seems. That being said, when I was last here in July, my sleeper train, which started in Düsseldorf, came from that way. Maybe it did a funny loop around so as to avoid reversing here, because Koblenz and Frankfurt via the old route is this way, but I think if you're accessing Frankfurt via the high-speed line, which trains from Munich presumably do, then it's that way. Does that make sense to you? If so, please explain it to me. Meanwhile, I'm fairly confident that the IC4 will now be departing in this direction, i.e. not reversing, so I'm standing in the right place. And we've got an intercity service to Kiel via Wuppertal. I think I was originally planning to get this train, but I'm going to wait for the IC4 to leave first. It's got the pretend ICE DVT at the front and presumably a loco at the back. Started all the way in Nuremberg. It's quite a journey, Nuremberg to Kiel. Regional double-decker service to Siegen at Bahnhof. Tracks on the front. Meanwhile, this IC4, the service to Dortmund Hauptbahnhof, having started its journey in Munich, is about to depart. Oh, no! It's going the... Oh, I can't believe this. Unbelievable. Happened again. Stood in the wrong place. But the same train in the opposite direction, having started in Dortmund, heading to Munich, arrived from there. So apparently you can access Düsseldorf and Dortmund from both directions. It's always, apparently, whichever side I'm not standing on. And that's how they decide which route to take. It's the only logical conclusion from all of this. Not my train then. Right, let's go find the next train to Wuppertal. IC3 Arnhem, having started its journey in Brussels Midi, despite being one of the Dutch ones, now forms a service to Frankfurt Hauptbahnhof. Intercity train, I believe not in service. It has a DVT, but the DVT is on the loco end, which makes it a bit pointless. Meanwhile, I'm really hoping I'm standing in the right place this time to see the IC depart for Frankfurt. Got a Thalys service coming in, presumably heading to Paris Gare du Nord. Paris Nord indeed, via Brussels Midi. Between Cologne and Brussels, at least, is one of the sections of Thalys where they actually do have to compete with other operators, namely ICE. This train has just come from Brussels and is heading through to Frankfurt. See, this train has started at Dortmund, so Dortmund is that way, but not always, because sometimes Dortmund is that way. Anyway, we've got an ICE service to Frankfurt. Oh, and it's actually heading in the right direction. Oh, that's fantastic. Got something interesting crossing the bridge. It's all yellow. In the UK, all yellow means maintenance. This one also looks like a maintenance train. And here's a Talent 1, probably DMU, with a service to... I thought I said Bredbury for a second. It's like, wow. Bedburg. Bredburg. No, Bedburg. Service to Bredbury, that would be funny, wouldn't it? Yeah. We never got that Eurostar through service to Manchester, but fun fact, you can get a Deutsche Bahn Regio train from Cologne to a small suburb of Stockport. Or not. Got a Rhine-Ruhr Express service here. Looks like it's not in service. It's just being overtaken by a National Express service to Wuppertal. Oh, hang on. Well, the next train to Wuppertal wasn't until 44. Train line told me the next train to Wuppertal was at 12:44. Got an ICE service here. Heading to Basel SBB. Here's one last ICE train arriving, heading to Amsterdam.